Welcome, the rare gems. Protect your peace like your life depends on it, because it does. Your peace is non-negotiable. If you're a Sigma female, you live by this simple truth. You've worked hard to build a life where independence, authenticity, and strength are at the core of everything you do. You don't have time for people who drag you down or try to undermine your values. This video is for those who recognize their worth and won't settle for anything less than respect, honesty, and mutual growth. You understand that your time, energy, and mental peace are valuable, and that's why there are red flags you'll never ignore. Being a Sigma female means navigating the world on your own terms, choosing relationships, goals, and connections that align with your personal power. If someone tries to manipulate, control, or take advantage of you, it's not just a red flag, it's a warning sign. This video is here to help you spot the warning signs and stay true to your own path. Take a moment to tune in and listen closely. Trust your instincts. They know better than anyone when something isn't right. You deserve people who respect your independence and elevate your growth. Watch the video and protect your peace. Number 1. Overexplainers or chronic justifiers. Overexplainers and chronic justifiers may not seem like obvious red flags at first. After all, their intentions might appear harmless. They just want to be understood, right? But to a Sigma female, this behavior raises alarms. Why? Because it often signals insecurity, a need for constant validation, or even manipulation cloaked in verbosity. Sigma females value clarity and directness. They have no patience for people who overcomplicate what should be simple. When someone feels the need to repeatedly explain their actions or justify their decisions, it suggests they're either unsure of themselves or trying to convince you of something that doesn't fully add up. It's not about needing more information, it's about the instinctive discomfort of sensing there's more behind the over-explaining than meets the eye. This behavior often creates confusion instead of resolution. Rather than offering clarity, chronic justifiers drown the conversation in unnecessary details, turning it into a maze. Sigma females don't engage in mental gymnastics to decipher someone's intentions. They see this as a form of avoidance, sidestepping accountability or masking doubt under a flood of words. To a Sigma female, communication is most powerful when it's direct and honest. If someone can't trust their actions to speak for themselves, it's a sign they lack the confidence or authenticity she values. She doesn't stick around to unpack layers of explanations that ultimately lead nowhere. Instead, she moves on, seeking connections with people who embrace transparency and trust in their own choices. Sigma females thrive in relationships built on mutual respect and straightforwardness. Chronic over-explaining disrupts that balance, leaving no room for the trust and ease they require. And for them, clarity isn't just a preference, it's a standard they refuse to compromise. Number 2. Control freaks masked as helpers. Control freaks disguised as helpers may appear well-meaning on the surface, but to a Sigma female, their behavior is a calculated red flag. These individuals often camouflage their need for control with constant, unsolicited advice, favors, or offers to fix things that were never broken. To a Sigma female, this isn't kindness, it's subtle manipulation in action. The pattern is clear. Their help isn't about supporting you. It's about inserting themselves into your decisions, steering the outcome, and making you second-guess your independence. They thrive on creating a sense of dependency, where their advice or assistance feels like a crutch you can't do without. But Sigma females, fiercely independent and self-reliant, don't fall for it. Sigma females value freedom in every form, freedom of thought, choice, and action. They don't need someone constantly swooping in to save them or offering solutions they never asked for. When someone insists on intervening in their life under the guise of helping, it feels less like support and more like an attempt to undermine their autonomy. The real danger with these helpers is their subtlety. They rarely demand control outright. Instead, they cloak it in gestures that seem thoughtful or selfless. But Sigma females don't let flattery or superficial kindness blind them. They see through the facade and recognize the hidden agenda, a need to dominate, influence, or micromanage. When faced with such behavior, Sigma females don't engage in conflict or attempt to justify their independence. They simply set firm boundaries and, if necessary, walk away. They refuse to let anyone, no matter how seemingly helpful, encroach on their space or diminish their ability to make decisions for themselves. To a Sigma female, freedom isn't just a value, it's a way of life. Number 3. Competitive friends or partners. Competitive friends or partners can turn even the most meaningful relationships into a draining contest, and Sigma females have no tolerance for it. While healthy competition can spark growth and motivation, there's a distinct difference between encouragement and rivalry. When someone treats a relationship like a constant power struggle, it stops being about connection and starts being about control. Sigma females are naturally self-driven and focused on their own path. They don't measure their worth by comparison, and they don't feel the need to overshadow others to prove their value. So, when a friend or partner constantly tries to one-up their achievements, successes, or even personal struggles, it's a glaring red flag. To a Sigma female, this behavior reveals insecurity disguised as ambition. The issue with competitive relationships is that they erode trust and authenticity. Instead of building each other up, the dynamic becomes about keeping score. Whether it's subtle jabs disguised as jokes, downplaying accomplishments, or turning every conversation into a contest, Sigma females don't waste time in environments that foster jealousy or resentment. For them, relationships are about mutual respect, encouragement, and shared growth, not a battlefield for ego. They expect their friends and partners to celebrate their wins without feeling threatened and to offer genuine support without hidden agendas. If someone is too focused on beating them, it shows a lack of emotional maturity and compatibility. Sigma females understand that true connections thrive on collaboration, not competition. When faced with a competitive friend or partner, they don't engage in the game. Instead, they sideline the person and move forward, surrounding themselves with individuals who value teamwork over rivalry and authenticity over pretense. For a Sigma female, relationships should elevate, not compete. Number 4, dismissive of ambition. When someone is dismissive of ambition, it's more than just a careless remark. It's a window into how they perceive you and your aspirations. For Sigma females, whose independence and drive define them, this behavior is a glaring red flag. They refuse to tolerate anyone who belittles their goals, whether it's through outright mockery, passive-aggressive comments, or the subtle tone of condescension disguised as advice. Ambition isn't just about achieving milestones. It's about having a vision and the courage to pursue it. Sigma females work hard to carve out their path, often against the odds, and they expect the people in their life to respect that journey. When someone downplays their dreams or treats them as unrealistic or unimportant, it signals a lack of respect, not just for their goals but for their identity and values. The dismissiveness often comes from a place of insecurity. People who feel threatened by ambition tend to project their own limitations onto others. But Sigma females don't have the patience or energy to unpack someone else's self-doubt. They quickly recognize that this behavior isn't about constructive feedback or concern. It's about control, jealousy, or an unwillingness to see them grow. Support and encouragement are the cornerstones of any meaningful relationship, and Sigma females hold the people around them to that standard. They gravitate toward those who inspire and celebrate progress, not those who tear it down. When someone reveals themselves as dismissive of their ambition, a Sigma female doesn't argue or explain. Instead, she takes it as a sign to move on, leaving behind anyone who can't handle the strength of her vision. To her, ambition isn't up for debate. It's the fuel that drives her forward, and she refuses to dim that light for anyone. At number 5, refusal to let you shine. Sigma females are unapologetically confident and fiercely committed to their own growth and success. They know their worth and they shine brightly without hesitation or fear. The idea of dimming their light to make others comfortable is foreign to them. It goes against everything they stand for. But when someone actively tries to stifle that light, whether by downplaying their achievements, resenting their success, or making them feel guilty for their growth, it's a huge red flag. Such people often operate from a place of insecurity, jealousy, or even fear. They might claim to support you, but their actions tell a different story. They'll find ways to undermine your accomplishments, downplay your success, or make subtle remarks that try to diminish your shine. These people can't handle someone else excelling because it exposes their own fears and inadequacies. For a Sigma female, this kind of behavior is toxic. She doesn't need anyone who feels threatened by her progress or resents her drive. She surrounds herself with individuals who celebrate each other's growth, who elevate one another, and who are genuinely happy to see others succeed. Sigma females know that someone who can't handle their success is not someone who has their best interests at heart. When faced with this kind of energy, a Sigma female doesn't waste time trying to prove herself or explain her worth. She simply walks away, recognizing that anyone who stifles her growth isn't worth keeping around. She thrives with people who encourage her, challenge her, and help her reach her full potential. After all, her success isn't a threat to those who understand that the only way to rise is by lifting each other up. Number 6. Inability to take responsibility. Sigma females hold themselves accountable for their actions, decisions, and mistakes. They don't shy away from owning their faults, because they understand that personal growth requires self-reflection and responsibility. When someone is unable to take responsibility, it's a glaring sign of emotional immaturity and a refusal to evolve. A person who constantly deflects blame, never owns up to their mistakes, or shifts responsibility onto others is not someone who can be trusted to engage in honest, growth-oriented relationships. For a Sigma female, accountability isn't just about admitting when she's wrong. It's about understanding that her actions have consequences and taking the necessary steps to learn from them. She recognizes that no one is perfect, and mistakes are opportunities for growth. However, those who constantly avoid owning their errors show a lack of self-awareness and an inability to mature. It reveals someone who is more concerned with protecting their ego than with becoming better or improving themselves. This kind of behavior not only damages relationships, but it also keeps people trapped in cycles of denial and stagnation. Sigma females don't have the energy to invest in someone who refuses to confront their shortcomings. She values emotional maturity and honesty, which are crucial for building trust and respect. The moment she sees someone deflecting responsibility, she knows it's a major red flag. She won't tolerate anyone who can't own up to their mistakes, because it's clear that they're not interested in personal growth or developing an authentic relationship. A Sigma female moves on because she knows that true accountability is a cornerstone of any meaningful connection. Number 7. Disrespect toward your hustle. For a Sigma female, hustle isn't just a catchphrase. It's a way of life. She understands that ambition isn't something to be downplayed or ignored. It's the driving force that propels her toward her goals. If someone can't recognize or respect the dedication, the long hours, and the sacrifices she makes for her dreams, it's a clear sign that they don't belong in her world. Her grind isn't just a phase. It's a fundamental part of who she is. Anyone who tries to belittle her aspirations or slow her down is revealing their own lack of vision or drive. Sigma females don't waste time with people who don't understand the value of hard work, who scoff at ambition, or who want to hold her back out of jealousy or insecurity. They don't have the luxury of being surrounded by people who don't share the same hunger to succeed. If someone can't support her hustle, they're not just missing out on the life she's building. They're disrespecting the essence of who she is. Sigma females value people who push them to do better, who recognize their worth, and who understand the grind it takes to make big things happen. Anyone who doesn't see or respect that hustle is essentially saying they're not worthy of being part of her journey. For a Sigma female, the grind is everything. She doesn't have time for negativity, laziness, or people who hold her back. If you can't support her ambition, it's not personal. It's simply a sign that you're not on the same path. Sigma females know that their goals demand respect, and they won't tolerate anyone who doesn't honor the effort it takes to get where they're going. At number 8, entitlement without effort. Sigma Females understand that value is earned, not given freely without cause. They operate in a world where effort, respect, and reciprocity are essential for meaningful connections. Anyone who expects their time, attention, or energy without contributing anything of substance is showing their true colors. This sense of entitlement without effort doesn't just come off as lazy. It signals a deep lack of respect for boundaries and an absence of mutual regard. Sigma females don't owe anyone anything, especially those who think they can take without giving. Relationships, whether personal or professional, should be based on a balance of give and take. If someone expects your time and energy while offering little or nothing in return, they're essentially treating you as a resource, not as an equal. This kind of entitlement feels draining and manipulative, and Sigma females aren't about to let anyone take advantage of their generosity, skills, or emotional labor. There's a fine line between genuine connection and exploitation. Sigma females are highly self-aware and selective with whom they invest their time and energy. They're more than happy to give to those who reciprocate, who offer value, who make an effort to contribute meaningfully to the relationship. But for those who simply want to take without giving anything back, there's no place for them in a Sigma female's world. The moment she senses entitlement without effort, she cuts ties. There's no room in her life for leeches or takers. She surrounds herself with people who understand that relationships are about mutual respect, effort, and growth. To a Sigma female, anyone who doesn't contribute something valuable to her world is just an unnecessary weight. She moves on, recognizing that she doesn't need to waste her time on anyone who thinks they can simply take without giving anything of value in return. Number 9. Obsessive Gossipers. Sigma. Females have no time for obsessive gossipers. When someone spends more energy talking about others than focusing on their own growth, it reveals a deeper issue: insecurity and a lack of purpose. Gossip isn't just idle chatter, it's a distraction, a way to deflect attention from their own shortcomings or unresolved issues. And a Sigma female recognizes this pattern instantly. She values authenticity, introspection, and personal growth above all else. Anyone who thrives on talking about others, whether out of jealousy, judgment, or just boredom, shows that they're not focused on bettering themselves. Instead of investing in their own goals or developing their own talents, they tear down others to elevate themselves, even if only for a moment. To a Sigma female, gossip signals an emotional vacuum. People who constantly discuss others' lives and missteps do so because they lack a fulfilling life of their own. They seek validation or satisfaction from other people's flaws, as it temporarily distracts them from their own insecurities. But Sigma females don't find satisfaction in tearing others down. They're too busy cultivating their own growth, building their own empire, and pushing their own limits. If someone spends their time gossiping instead of working on themselves, they're not someone a Sigma female would choose to keep close. She has no tolerance for individuals who thrive on negativity, drama, or judgment. For her, relationships are meant to be a space for mutual support, empowerment, and forward momentum, not for indulging in shallow discussions that hold no value. When faced with obsessive gossipers, Sigma females don't engage. They simply step away, choosing to surround themselves with people who uplift, inspire, and focus on meaningful conversations that lead to growth, not idle talk. At number 10, overbearing need for control. Sigma. Females have an innate drive for autonomy and independence. Their lives are built on the foundation of making their own choices, owning their actions, and moving through the world without being tethered to the whims of others. Anyone who constantly tries to control a Sigma female's decisions, emotions, or actions is crossing a line that goes beyond mere overreach. It's an outright violation of her core values. When someone seeks to control, they're often operating from a place of insecurity or possessiveness. They either don't trust you to make your own choices, or worse, they don't respect your individuality. To them, your autonomy is either a threat to their control or something they feel entitled to dominate. But for a Sigma female, this is an immediate deal breaker. She doesn't exist to live under someone else's thumb or to fulfill someone else's agenda. The need for control is a reflection of someone's inability to navigate their own insecurities. Those who want to dictate your life whether through micromanaging your decisions or trying to manipulate your emotions, don't see you as an equal. They see you as something to be controlled. This dynamic doesn't just limit her freedom, it denies her the right to be herself, to grow, to change, and to move at her own pace. Sigma females recognize this behavior early on, and they don't tolerate it. They might give a little space for discussions or attempts at persuasion, but when control turns into manipulation, they shut it down completely. Autonomy is essential to their existence, and they don't compromise on it. If someone can't respect that, they're out of the picture, because Sigma females know that their worth and individuality aren't up for negotiation. Number 11. Gaslighting. Gaslighting is one of the most insidious forms of manipulation, and Sigma females have a keen ability to spot it from a mile away. It's a tactic that plays with your perception of reality, making you question your own thoughts, feelings, and even your sanity. It's toxic, corrosive, and an outright attack on your mental clarity and autonomy. For a Sigma female, there is absolutely no room for someone who uses this form of manipulation to maintain control or shift the narrative in their favor. Sigma females value their mental strength and independence. They trust their instincts and stand firm in their perceptions, which is why gaslighting doesn't work on them. When someone tries to make her doubt herself, deny events that clearly happened, or twist the truth to confuse her, she sees through it immediately. Sigma females don't need to second-guess their reality, and they certainly won't let someone distort it for their own benefit. Gaslighting isn't just about confusing someone. It's about taking away their power and control. It's about making them feel small, vulnerable, and unsteady. Sigma females understand that their mental well-being is their greatest asset, and they don't tolerate anyone who tries to compromise that. The moment they recognize gaslighting, they act decisively. They don't entertain explanations or apologies. They cut off the manipulator with a clear, firm boundary. To a Sigma female, there's no compromise when it comes to protecting her sense of reality. She values authenticity and clarity, and will not allow anyone to play games with her mind. If someone tries to gaslight her, they'll quickly realize she's a force they can't manipulate. She walks away without hesitation and keeps her mental space sacred, because she knows that anyone who attempts to distort her reality doesn't belong in her world. This isn't a dramatic reaction or a declaration of mistrust. It's a calculated decision. She's already naturally independent, but moments of disappointment sharpen her focus. She shifts her energy toward making herself even more capable, more resourceful, and more untouchable. Whether it's mastering a new skill, securing her finances, or building a life that runs entirely on her own terms, she becomes hyper-focused on ensuring no one can ever hold power over her again. If you're a Sigma female, you know that the world doesn't operate on your terms by default. You set those terms. You don't just live life, you shape it, and you do so with integrity, independence, and wisdom. The red flags we've talked about aren't just things that irritate you. They're signs that your boundaries, your peace, and your future are being disrespected. A Sigma female isn't someone who compromises her values or settles for less than she deserves. She's built a life that revolves around her sense of self, and anyone who threatens that balance is quickly shown the door. You are someone who values autonomy over dependency, growth over stagnation, and respect over superficial connections. If you see these red flags, don't hesitate to act on them. Trust your instincts. They've never steered you wrong. If someone doesn't understand or respect your drive, your ambition, or your need for space, they don't deserve to be in your circle. Keep in mind that being a Sigma female isn't about perfection. It's about knowing your worth and never settling for less. The relationships and connections you choose to invest in should elevate you, challenge you, and allow you to be unapologetically yourself. If someone or something threatens that, it's a signal that it's time to walk away. Your journey is your own, and only those who align with your values and respect your boundaries deserve a place in it. Keep your head high, trust your judgment, and remember, your power lies in the choices you make. Don't let anyone dull your shine. Thanks for watching. See you in our next video. Bye for now, and God bless.